hell are you doing? Put that weapon down now.
0 for 600. You gotta aim a little lower.
Ain't gonna make a difference. It's close. Only thing that's gonna make a difference is whether I'm crazy or not.
The man pulled the trigger in front of the horrified looks on everyone's faces, but the gun never fired as expected because this was all part of his plan. The goal was to clear his own name as a special forces operator. Mike would quietly swap out the firing pins in his weapons every time he serviced them, unless checked with a precision micrometer. Most people would never notice a thing, though it seemed like a tiny detail. It was enough to show he had nothing to do with the assassination of the president, and after Mike's digging, he found every lead pointed to the colonel standing right beside him as the real mastermind. Yet when faced with Mike's accusations, the colonel did not flinch in the slightest, since the other side had no solid proof. Then at the crucial moment, a nearby officer pulled out a stack of photos, and in those photos was proof of the colonel slaughtering civilians in Africa. Even with such damning evidence in plain sight, the colonel stayed calm and collected.
This is in the Horn of Africa.
The Minister of Justice was also stunned by the colonel's brazen behavior, but this was not an international tribunal, so even with proof of the colonel's crimes, they had no authority to put him on trial. The colonel knew this all too well, which is why he dared to speak boldly and mock the top officials in the room. Then under the furious stares of everyone, the colonel shoved the door open and walked out with arrogance, just when everyone felt powerless. The Attorney General seemed to have an answer. He slowly stood and moved to Mike's side.
For the record, I don't like the way this turned out any more than you do. Clean up the streets with a gun. Even though sometimes that's exactly what's needed. For the record, I don't like the way this turned out any more than you do.
Mike caught on instantly. He immediately understood the silent signal from the Attorney General that night. The colonel called in the congressman who was in league with him. He eagerly boasted about his grand display in the military court earlier that day, not knowing that Mike had become a terrorist and come to their side.